Why do nations differ in HRM? Cross-national differences in HRM and the pressures to adapt to local conditions arise from the array of factors that make each nation unique. These factors are called the national context. National context is national culture and social institutions that influence how managers make decisions regarding the strategies of their organizations. The national context also includes the pool of resources available for firms. The resources pool represents all the human and physical resources available in a country. For example, are the quality of labor, the availability of scientific laboratories, and sources of fuel. The resource pool represents the factors, conditions associated with a country. 5 key factors influence the resource pool and in turn the management practice favored by firms in a given nation. First is the quality, quantity, and accessibility of raw material. For example, the extensive tract of fertile land in the US enable US agriculture firms to compete with low price and high quality on the world market. Second, the quantity, quality, and cost of personnel available. For example, Germany has large pool of technically trained workers who support the development of industries and firms where high-quality differentiation strategies abound. Third, the scientific, technical, and market-related knowledge available to firms. Both Japan and the US, for example, have abundant store of scientific and technical knowledge from universities and industry-based R&D. Fourth, the cost and amount of capital available to firms for operations and expansions. This factor address the question of how firms get financing to run their operations. For example, during the double-digit expansion of the Korean economy, Korean chaebol relied mostly on heavy debt financing from government-controlled banks. And lastly, the type, quality, and cost of supporting institutions such as the system of communication, education, and transportation. Nations differ widely in the supporting resources necessary to run a business. Trained workers are a critical resource, but factors such as the reliable phones and the ability to transport goods cheaply and predictably are also important. Some resources, called natural factor conditions, occur naturally. For example, countries with extensive coal and gas reserves favor the development of industries and firms that require high energy consumption. Canada has abundant source of the water necessary for the efficient production of aluminium. Other resource is called induced factor conditions arise from cultural and institutional pressure. For example, the high cultural value placed on education in many Asian societies help create a well-trained workforce for countries like Singapore and Korea. Social institutions such as the government can affect induced factor condition. The major national context characteristics that affect HRM, which are as follows. First, education and training of the labor pool. The type and quality of labor available to companies is a key issue in HRM. A country educational system provides the raw human resource material for company. Second, law and cultural expectation of selection practice. The law of a country and people expectation tell manager the right way to find new employees. In some nations, for example, you are expected to hire your relative. In other nations, it might be against a company's policy to do so. Sometimes it is considered common and necessary to ask women job applicants if they tend to get married soon, but asking a job applicant such a question in the United States would be illegal and discriminatory. Third, type of job favored by applicant. Japanese college graduates prefer to be hired by big companies. They are attracted by the security of working for a large company. Most Chinese businesses are family-dominated, and family members expect to work for and with other family members. This example illustrates cultural value and norm regarding the best and right place to work. Fourth, law and cultural expectation regarding fair wage and promotion criteria. Should other workers make more money than younger workers? Should men be promoted faster than women? Should people who enter the company together make the same salary and be promoted together? Should a worker's family situation influence his or her salary due to cultural expectations and institutional pressure? The answer to such questions vary according to national context. And lastly, law and tradition regarding labor practice. The legal position and power of union and the historical relationship between management and labor have profound influence on HRM practice in labor relations. For example, in some nations, labor management conflict has long-term historical precedent. However, labor conflict and the popularity of unions among workers differ by national context. Consider the previous multinational management brief. The major steps in recruitment. Firstly, managers determine that there are vacancies which may occur in anticipation of expansion or as the result of workers leaving the organization. Second, employees determine the types of people and skills necessary for the job. Third, employees generate a pool of applicants. Recruitment strategy to generate the applicant pool include walk-in or unsolicited application, advertisement placed in newspaper or on the internet, company website job posting, listing of vacant position on the firm's website, internal job posting, company listing of vacant jobs target at current employees, public and private personnel agencies, placement service of educational institution, current employees' recommendation. In US, selection practice is to gather quality information on a candidate's job qualification. The ideal selection then results in a match between the applicant's skill and the job requirement. As in the recruitment process, an individual is seen as a bundle of skill that the organization can purchase. The individualistic culture in the US promotes a focus on a person's achievement, for example, education, natural ability, experience, not on group affiliation such as the family. Previous work experience, performance on tests, and perception of qualification in interview help inform HRM personnel or hiring managers about the applicant's qualification. To avoid discrimination or favoritism, law and cultural norm in the US prescribe that the information gathered during the selection process must be valid. That is, the information gathered from prospective employees must relate to performance on the job. Job qualification tests must predict job performance. Selection in collectivist culture. The hiring process in a collectivist society always takes the in-group into account. In selecting employees, collectivist cultural norms value potential, trustworthiness, reliability, and loyalty over performance-related background characteristics. Personal traits such as loyalty to the company, loyalty to the boss, and trustworthiness are the traits that family members can provide. Implications for the multinational recruitment and selection. US probably have the most success using the typical US recruitment practice, advertising in newspaper and going to college campus. In other countries, the multinational manager will also need to discover and use local recruitment and selection practice. Adaptation to local recruitment and selection practice may not always be easy. In Japan, for example, most foreign multinational companies do not have the personal contact with Japanese professors that they need to attract the best managerial talent. For US companies, such recruitment method may violate ethical codes that require competitive access to all open jobs. What happens when a company does not follow local norm in recruitment and selection? First, it may not get the best employees. Second, it may offend local cultural norms or break host country law. Thus, multinational manager must always assess the trade-off between following home practice that get what they believe are the right people for the job and the costs and benefits of following local tradition.
Training and development.
Within a country, training and development need vary widely, affected by different industries, technologies, strategies, organizational structure, and local labor market condition. However, broad national difference in training and development do exist. The cross-national difference in training and development are most associated with institutional difference in national educational system, which create large difference in recruit, qualification in basic skill and in attitude toward work. Cross-cultural training and development difference are also associated with the degree of emphasis placed by the national government. For company like RICO, which continues to avoid layoff at all costs, long-term employment allow management training and development to take place slowly through extensive job rotation. Managers learn by doing, with many different job assignments yearly in their career.
Training and development in the United States. The most popular training topics are management development and computer skills. Because of perceived weaknesses in U.S. secondary education, the pressure of U.S. businesses to supplement basic educational training will increase. 30% of U.S. students do not finish high school, and many of the graduates do not have sufficient reading and mathematical skills for current and future jobs. The shift in emphasis of the U.S. economy from manufacturing to service is predicted to be an important issue in the future. The service sector tends to be very capital and skill intensive and require employees to have not only the appropriate technical skills but also critical thinking skills, team building skills and learning abilities. Training and vocational education in Germany. A sophisticated and standardized national system of vocational education and training provides a major human resource for German industries. There are two forms of vocational education in Germany. One consists of general and specialized vocational schools and professional and technical college. The other form, called the dual system, combines in-house apprenticeship training with part-time vocational school training, leading to a skilled worker certificate. The dual system is probably the most important component of German vocational training. The training and certificate qualification are standardized throughout the country.
Implication for the multinational training and development. Before setting up operation in a host foreign country, multinational manager must consider the quality of the workers and sometimes of the manager in the host country. They must also examine the feasibility of exporting their company's training technique to the host country. Rather than invest in basic education to train a low-cost workforce, the company can locate the countries with the best educational system. Regardless of the basic talent of host country workers, training is an important component of the HR strategy. The adaptation of management development practice to different national contexts depends significantly on the intended use of host country manager. If host country national are limited to lower management level, then multinational company may follow local management development practice.
Performance appraisal is the systematic evaluation of the performance of employees and to understand the abilities of a person for further growth and development. They have three objectives of performance appraisal. First, to identify the strengths and weaknesses of employees to place right man on right job. Second, to maintain and assess the potential present in a person for further growth and development. Third, to provide a feedback to employees regarding their performance and related status. In countries with a high individualism score, there is a lack of interpersonal connection and little sharing of responsibility beyond family and perhaps a few close friends. Promotions based on performance, ability, and skills. Collectivist societies, for example China, Japan, Korea, and Indonesia, were not the same with the individualism countries. In this country, have a strong group cohesion and there would be a large amount of loyalty and respect for members of the group. The group itself is also larger and people take more responsibility for each other's well-being. Promotion are based on seniority. Compensation is a total rewards provided to employees in return for services. In compensation, it has three components such as direct, indirect, and non-financial compensation. For direct financial compensation, have two, which is wages and salaries. For indirect financial compensation, are all other financial rewards. For non-financial compensation, is satisfaction from job itself or from psychological or physical environment in which employee works. There are wide variation of both among countries and among organizations concerning how to compensate workers.